What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show where we bring together some of the best content creators from the blockchain and NFT gaming community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adam. I'll be your host today, but more importantly, as always, we've got a great group of guests for y'all. First and foremost, on this wonderful Monday, we got CryptoStache in the house. How's it going, my friend?
Doing it Monday, hanging out with all you fine folks here, and recovering a little bit from the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna lie, did drink a little bit. Go figure.
Shame on you, Stash.
Stash, what were you drinking? Enlighten us for what the game day brew was.
So we went to the store and got like a nice couple of sours that my girl wanted to grab, and then I was also mostly drinking on two different beers, which were the Findamond, and then also the Enjoy Buys, Stone Brewing. They always do like an Enjoy Buy. It's a quarterly thing, so like it's Enjoy Buy 420. So those just came out. I've been drinking on those too. Good stuff.
I feel that. I had a couple of CBD seltzers during the game last night, which
all right, let's go.
We're solid. Yeah, we're solid.
Those are pretty good, man. You know, I was a little disappointed. The first time I walked into a shop, like this was quite some time ago, and they started with these. They Lagunitas made one, right? And I was disappointed to like get there and then like read it, and then it wasn't actually beer. I was like, if it could be beer whiskey, like why not? For whatever reason, they just nope.
I think, it might be some kind of like regulatory thing there, probably.
Just too much, man. Too much.
But we're already off the rails. They're not even a couple minutes in, but yeah, we got a great group of guests for y'all. Some returning faces and some new ones as well. We got NFTYQ, co-founder of Web3 and host of NFT Live. How's it going, NFTYQ?
What's up, guys? It's good to be on the channel as always. I feel like we've been through multiple cycles at this point. We're like old men, so just kind of trying to power through this one. Obviously, the week wasn't too good for the crypto prices, but I was happy that the Eagles lost. I was one of the few that was happy, being a Cowboys fan myself. So good to see y'all.
I mean, I'm sad, my man. My man Jalen Hurts didn't bring home the win last night, but
he played well.
Yeah, that's how it goes. We won't talk about. I mean, maybe we will talk about the ref decision later, but not now. Again, not the time for that. We got some new faces joining us on the show tonight. We got Dub Up, content creator and community manager.
Hey. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. I've been a long-time fan of the show, so it's pretty cool to actually be on this now. Also, I'm going to share that joy in the Eagles losing, and so glad the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. Patrick Mahomes did deserve it, man. They were looking not great before the half, and then I don't know.
Whoa! You said we were gonna wait. You said they keep baiting you in, Adam. Goodness.
Whatever. It's your guys' fault, man. It's Dub and NFTYQ's fault, man. But last but certainly not least, we've got Meezy's, founder of Spawn Point Media. Meezy's, how's it going?
What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a wild, super brainiac conversation. I have some of my favorite people here today, Stash, Dom, Nifty. We're going to do it big tonight. So thank you for tuning in. I hope to make it entertaining and full of energy as always. So, good to see everyone.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show. And for those of you watching out there, thanks for tuning in. Before we dive into things, go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe if you're not already. And then later on, we'll talk about these guys' channels linked below and for you to go check those out. But before we jump into the actual topics tonight, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, the folks over at Alluvium.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man. They're actually, so for anyone who doesn't know, but I'm sure that's not too many at this point, tuned in at least, they're an open world creature collector and auto battler that's, killing the game right now in Web3. They recently announced the date for their highly anticipated Alluvitar sale, and we're actually going to be bringing Kieran on for an interview in the next couple of weeks to talk all about that. So keep an eye on the channel because we're going to be bringing him on pretty soon here. But for those of you who haven't, aren't up to speed on everything that Alluvium's been doing, we put together a little hype reel for you to show you guys what to expect as they continue to roll things out. So let's take a look at that. I can't wait to get some more time in the beta that they have going on right now. We're actually in our Discord dropping some Illuvium beta codes every once in a while. So if you liked what you saw there, go ahead and hop into our Discord, and you might have a chance at if you're not already signed up for it, getting your hands on some of that game before it's ready for the public necessarily. So keep that in mind. But it's still really good for where it's at. Probably the best in the game right now.
When PvP?
Yeah,
This is what I want to know. When can
when
I start kicking
PvP?
people's ass in Illuvium?
We'll have to Stash will have to that'll be like on the list of questions for Kieran coming up here in the next couple weeks. But we got a slam show for y'all tonight. We got a jam-packed show. We're talking about a couple different things here. The most notable being the Super Bowl ad last night for DigiDaigaku. I think I'm butchering
Digi,
it.
just call it Digi.
Digi,
Everybody
Digi.
knows Gabe and
Limit
knows
break.
what you're talking about.
For Limit Break.
Dude. Yes.
But yeah, I want to get your guys' opinions on that. We're going to be talking about Web3 gaming and if most Web3 games are doomed. And then we're going to be talking about a little piece on AI here because it's all the rage on how AI might revolutionize the video game industry and how that might merge kind of here with Web3 games. That being kind of the umbrella term we're using. I feel like AI is going to fall in on,
I love
on that.
AI.
I mean, I think it's becoming. I think it falls in on the Web3 term here pretty soon. But let's jump right into things. Let's talk about the Limit Break commercial for the Super Bowl in the Super Bowl last night. Apparently, they spent $6.5 million on that. I mean, it was probably like 30 seconds or something like that. And I tried to scan that QR code and didn't have much luck. It sent me right to Twitter, and I was like, what the heck's going on here, man? Like, what kind of bullshit is this? Stash, I mean, let me ask you, what do you think of the Super Bowl ad or the Limit Break Super Bowl ad? And did you get it on the NFTs? I mean, I know the answer to that, but for everyone viewing.
So okay, so here's where I start. First things first. Taking everything else aside, the price tag for the thing and how it went down and and Gabe and everything else, the ad itself it sucked. I mean, I'm sorry, man. It just was not a good looking ad in my opinion. And so that right out the gate to me, I was kind of surprised. I was like, man, if you're spending this much money for a commercial in the Super Bowl, the ad should maybe be a little bit more appealing. A lot of these articles talking about what happened here, mention how Gabriel, he was actually in a previous company who did same, mobile advertising. I'm sorry, Super Bowl advertising for mobile games. And they were like, oh, these ones were actually well done. One of them featured Arnold Schwarzenegger. The other one featured, I think, Kate Upton. And they were actually like cool commercials. Like they actually, it felt like, yeah, I want to go play that. This commercial did not do that. Like, just so right off the bat, it didn't really bring, and like, you couldn't, I mean, like, it just said free digital collectible. Like, you didn't even know that there was a game behind it. I felt like the commercial itself was awkward. So that was my number one thing, I would say. Number two, yeah, obviously, I think a lot of people were trying to scan it and, trying to see what's up, and it just took them to Gabriel's Twitter profile. Now, as much as people want to say, oh, it's still brilliant, and yeah, it was a marketing tactic, and, he's engagement farming, it's awkward that the game or the QR would go to his profile and not to like DigiDaigaku's Twitter handle or to Limit Breaks or something like that. So there was more information really, and it just for people who didn't know who he was or weren't in the Web3 scene, they may not have any idea what's going on. Just think that like it was and then click off immediately. Like, who is this guy? I don't know. Click off, because that's exactly how I would have felt about it if I didn't know what was going on. And I did, and I still felt kind of crappy about it. Like, what? I mean, it's just right to his profile. Like, that seems weird. It should go to the company's profile or the game's profile or the maker's profile, not to his personal Twitter. I think that's just kind of odd. And so a lot of people look at it as engagement farming. I think that it kind of seems like that as well. And probably overpaid a little bit for it too. If you just wanted to get a bunch of low quality followers, then there's better, cheaper ways to do it, I would say. And then the third thing I would say that I wasn't so fond about was that this was not like, the idea was like, oh, it's going to be this great NFT mint that's going to be on TV, and it's the first ever of the being done. And that is kind of awesome. I do appreciate that, but it didn't help to bring, I think, anybody from outside of Web3 into the space. You know, things like not being able to actually mint it without a wallet were probably a big problem. You know, just redirecting right away to, you know, his Twitter after the mint was apparently done. A lot of people also said, and they felt like that he dropped the link for the mint a little bit ahead of the commercial, so it was already gone by the time the commercial hit. And obviously, there's stream delays, you know, across you know, things which you know that you can't do much about. But I think that, you know, overall, it was not friendly to anybody outside of Web3, and I think that's a huge fail on a lot of parts. You know, you didn't really, you brought in more followers and people who were going to follow you, but not really. I think a lot of people who understand what's going on, and you know, maybe we're just clicking because they just saw free. Okay, cool, free, whatever. Maybe you can market to them later, but I just don't see that it was super helpful in bringing in people from the outside at this point. I think it was mostly just Web3 people who were trying to get up in it. And you know, this, you can kind of see this by if you look at the listing on OpenSea, where it's only 32% original or unique holders of these dragons so far. So you know, the 4,000 they put out with this commercial is a very small amount of people who are holding this uniquely, which means the people who got in it early or somehow maybe got the link ahead of time, they were scanning multiple phones multiple times, minting it, and it didn't reach a wider audience like I feel like the intention kind of was supposed to be. It was to get to a wider audience, not to have the same fools that quickly mint everything with bots or with multiple setups or whatever it is, to have those NFTs and it only be 30. You know, you would think it'd be 40, 50, 60%, hopefully. You know, that's what you want from something like this, to get more people and not the same people that are holding all these other NFTs, holding a ton of these same dragon NFTs too.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's funny, like when you talk about the commercial itself, it's like you're ever like using like a free version of an app that has ads on it, and it's like WhatsApp or like, you know, those like crummy like mobile cartoon like, you know, tower defense clone game like type commercials. That's what like the commercial felt like to me, or even like, you know, one of those like faux slot machine game type things,
right?
You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This commercial cost $6.5 million, man. You think they could have spent, like, if you're gonna spend that much money and that's how much the commercial itself just to have it air costs, dude, you might as well spend another $2 million to make a really good commercial and do like what he did before with like Arnold Schwarzenegger and I think it was Mobile Strike was the game, because that was pretty hot, man.
I agree. Hot. You got to get some celebrities in there. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
So this is a case of classic crypto. I've been through it when I was a beginner. You have to find your way to the gold mine. It's a puzzle, and smart people will figure it out. It brings positive awareness to the space, in my opinion. Further, it's people are sleeping on generational wealth. It's a joke in our space, but it's true. Let me do the math for you now. It would take, at the current floor price, a floor price means the current price of the most basic one that someone will sell you, 450 digis to pay for the ad. All right. Then there are 200 million people watching the Super Bowl on average from last year. That's a metric. The numbers aren't out this year yet. So therefore, and a lot of those people have money. So a fraction of 1% of people in the world watching the Super Bowl have to buy for them to be net positive and profit on that ad spend. In my brain, it's a genius move by Gabe. So, you know, it could have been done better, but, you know, props to them for making the move. So I'm a fan of it.
I don't think execution was necessarily terrible too. I mean, I was with my normie group and a bunch of them jumped to scan it. And frankly, like the QR code use was on point with the rest of the commercials that we saw in the Super Bowl. And I think that was something that I was happy to see. And I don't know. I have a different feeling than you, Stash, on the quality of the commercial as a whole. I know my little nephew enjoyed watching it and thought it was cool and wanted to end on the game, you know, and is now interested into it. And he does have all those followers now.
I mean, it didn't even show any of the game.
Yeah.
Bro, like, okay, like once again, compare that commercial to like the Mobile Strike one that they did. I mean, it doesn't have the same appeal, man. There's just no way. And I mean, when we talk about like technical execution, sure, being able to scan a QR code and go somewhere, but like all those people, I'm telling you, like when your nephew or all the people that you were with, Dub, when they scanned that QR and it just took them to Gabriel's Twitter, did they feel like kind of like this is weird?
Yeah, it's a
like,
different
man,
story.
oh man,
I mean,
but now I need to go explore and really find out what's going on here. No, they don't care because it's over. It's done. The commercial's over. The spotlight is over. There's nothing there for them to see. No way to really follow up. There's no way to like check out the game on a mobile app store. Like none of those things.
Yeah, I mean that's on Gabe right now with his 1 million followers, right? Like, how does he activate those guys and everything that he just bought, and what happens next? Well, all eyes are on him.
He will, yes, all eyes are on. However, he's a literal genius. He will instruct people how to do it through the puzzle, and it's a game. That's the genius of the whole thing. People love games. There's 8 billion people in the world. They've all played a game. I guarantee it.
If you ranked the advertisements from the Super Bowl last night, this DigiDaigaku one is not ranking near the top. And I have the benefit of doing a show daily before I hop onto these sometimes. And one of the commenters actually like put it really, really succinctly that I thought was perfect. Is that it was offer driven, not concept driven. And that's what you got with this ad. Is essentially it was an offer to go get a mint. It had no type of concept. The Kate Upton one was a great ad, Stash, like the God of War one that they did in 2015 with Kate Upton. I still remember that. It was a great ad for what they were trying to do. This one was literally just, hey, go mint this, and it goes to somebody's Twitter. I would give it like a 2 out of 10. But again, it was because it was a full offer based ad. That was it. It was like 3 cartoons messing with the box, and then it was done. It was very much based on the QR code. The one with Kate Upton was not. It was a fully thought out and well executed ad. This one, I hate it because we should be up here talking about how dope this ad was. But if you didn't have any expectation for the ad, then maybe it didn't, really do anything negative. But I had a strong expectation for the ad, and it fell way short.
I'll give it some. Go for it, Meezies.
Guess what? Here is the point. In social media right now, the major trend hitting with people right now is a DIY look. People love it. All these kids with millions of followers on Snapchat and TikTok and Insta, it's DIY. And that's exactly what it was. I think it hit pop culture exactly right on the head.
I mean, there's you could definitely go with a DIY feel that would have still been engaging and interesting. Like for someone, like I said, once again, for someone who didn't already know about this product or what was going on, like even the commercial itself didn't seem much like, oh, this is cool, here's gameplay. It was like a freaking chest with a QR on it and like some like kind of like low looking characters bouncing around like scan now, free digital thing, and it was just kind of like, all right, man, like, they could have melded the best of both worlds. They could have had a Kate Upton style or Arnold Schwarzenegger style video combined with the QR code that would have made me want to scan it, and they could have had it visible on the screen the whole time, and it would have at least been engaging to people. And then, like I said, the other part of it, like, well, then who are you trying to come in? Like, then even if they it hadn't gone to a Twitter and it had landed on the mint page, now you have all these people that are confused, that don't know what to do because they don't have a MetaMask wallet, and they didn't have a system of like trying to mint this in a way that would have been friendly to non-Web3 users.
There should have been a mini game there, straight up.
With you.
Yeah.
Whatever it
mini
was,
game would have been cool, yeah, like a little something, like a little mini game or something you had to play. I mean, something, man. Like there just needs to be a little bit more there, and versus it like, okay, it automatically just goes to his Twitter. I mean, at least go to the actual company's Twitter.
Gosh,
so
there's an
you
argument,
see a whole thing there of like what's going on, man. I mean,
he hit 1 million followers, so he's winning.
I mean, is it really? There are 1 million low quality followers, man. You're getting a million people who are probably never going to look at his tweets again. They may end up unfollowing, and they probably will never buy a DigiDaigaku, and they'll probably never play the game when it comes out either.
There is one argument to be made here, Stash, that like in 2023, this is what a marketing funnel looks like. It's not going to somebody's website; it's going to the person's profile, like Twitter profile. I heard it, and I heard that argument. I said that is probably the only argument. Yeah.
Okay, so
commercials still sucked.
I mean, I can. Okay, so I will give that some validity. I will definitely say that yes, there is some validity there too. But I would tell you in this specific case, though, I don't think it's as effective. I think in lots of other cases, you're totally right, and it makes total sense to market that way. But in this way, where where the purpose of doing a Super Bowl ad is to reach millions of people that are across tons of different generations, across different abilities to be able to use technology. That having it just dump into someone's personal Twitter just seems kind of weird. It doesn't complete like the loop of what I would think that would be a great marketing loop for spending $6.5 million on a commercial for the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah,
I don't know how they get value back out of that. I don't know how they get value back out of that.
Awkward feeling that you mentioned when you get redirected directly to someone's not personal, but just their Twitter page, business Twitter page in this case, I guess you would categorize it as, maybe somewhat personal also. But Chewbacca in chat has a good point. It's like he scanned it and got sent right there, and the first thing you see on that is like another post pinned saying, if you even like already 2 minutes before the ad airs, like it says posted 2 minutes ago, the ad airs, you're on it within the span of that time, and you see a post from minutes ago saying, if you missed out on your chance, like, retweet, and follow. For anyone who's got that awkward feeling of like, oh, this person's just engagement farming, you see that, and it's like a scammy ass page. You're like, what the fuck, man? It's like, what was even the point of the QR code if there was no hope of me even getting an NFT from it,
Yeah, and there's lots of people. There's lots of people who have million plus followers across platforms. That does not mean that they are getting they're driving the revenue that they really should be. Not to say that they can't be, but I've seen tons and tons of million plus accounts that just get shit for engagement. Now, what I will say is I did see a good kind of post in chat here where it's like, well, everybody in Web3 is talking about it. And that's true. And that definitely happened. But once again, it's a pretty small space. And, I think the mint was pretty much just, relegated to only people in the Web3, and only a small number of people in Web3 as well ended up getting the actual mint too. So I think that what I've seen mostly is kind of negative about it. I mean, not that I haven't seen some positive things, but in general, the sentiment that I'm getting in Twitter is that people were just kind of like, it didn't go over as well as they would like, and didn't really feel as cool for us here in even Web3 as we would have wanted it to be.
And you want to know why? Part of the reason why everyone in Web3 is talking about it right now, because everyone in Web3 is making content about it on YouTube, and it's without a doubt the most notable event in the space that's happened. So
guys, if he will be laughing.
Everyone's getting their own views from
the
it.
bank. Do you see the picture behind me? It's Donald Duck sitting on his riches. That's gonna be him, as we all hate on him. Or not me. I'm not hating on Gabe ever.
Well, no, hold on.
That's all it is. Everyone wants one, and they didn't get it.
I'm not saying that he's not going to be successful, or that the collection isn't successful, or that the upcoming game will not be successful. That is not what I'm saying here at all. So don't make it think like I'm just bashing him as a person. We're talking specifically.
I know.
No, yeah, we're talking specifically just about this actual event here. I don't think that, in my opinion, I just don't think that I think it could have gone better. Now, will he still be able to cap? I mean, he already had a ton of followers. He was already getting a ton of engagement here, in particular from the Web3 industry. So I don't think that's going to change. But like I said, I think that a lot of these people probably are maybe not going to be high quality followers, is what I'm saying, right?
I like the points that Mises is bringing up. It's like, what is the metric for success for them? Like, what was the metric?
I don't know.
Was it amount of personal followers? But was it hitting a certain amount of sales? Like, I also push back a little bit against like hey, it's a bad one, but we're still talking about it. If it was fucking amazing, we'd be sitting up here talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Either way, it's
news
in our industry.
We want to get some views too, man. I'm sure there's people in chat right now who have never seen the show who are here now because we're talking about it. So you know what I mean?
Dude,
so
he won.
Meezy, what do you think their metric for success here was? That's actually something I would love to hear your opinion on.
Guys, the secret here is in the numbers. I explained it earlier. 450 digi sales, period, out of 200 million people. That's a fraction of 1%. It's a win for him on a profitable basis. 2, it brings attention to gaming and what he's doing. He sucks in attention and turns people's minds into what he's doing. I'm still trying to understand what the project is, and I want to get involved. I just
He's like, I don't even know what the hell's going on. I don't even know what it is, but damn it if it ain't genius.
It's gonna be
I'm just trying to see like how do they
Everyone wants a
measure
dragon.
right, like how do they measure success with this project? Like it was like, okay, you know, what we were looking to do with our setup and the way we had it all set up, it was A, we knew we were gonna sell out. That was pretty much a given. B, okay, what was it? You know, the amount of people who unique users that got it, or C, amount of new people who were just following on Twitter. I mean, like how do they define like what is the metrics of success of like, hey, here is what we were trying to hit, and the idea of, you know, if we hit this benchmark, then we consider the money and the investment successful. Because I mean, it's definitely gonna take more than 450 sales of DigiDaigaku at 0.238 floor price right now to really make back the $6.5 million.
The Genesis is at 14K.
Oh, but the Genesis has nothing to do with this. I mean, you could talk about the collection. That collection has already done well. It's been a top collection and has done well for a long time. But you can't say that those sales factor into this particular purchase.
So
I guess you could argue that it does, because the attention from, say that there are new eyes brought onto this project from the Super Bowl ad. If they have big pockets, they could potentially want to invest in those.
But they're only getting royalties from the OG project. They're not getting the original mint price.
Guys, it's the same thing Doodles is doing. It's the same thing BAYC just did with the sewer pass, and Doodles with Doodles 2 and this and that. Basically, this is their version of trying to reach the masses, which with a more friendly entry point, because these NFT communities have to hit the masses, or else it's not going to be a big thing. These guys all have billion-dollar valuations and have raised massive amounts of venture capital. They have to do it. It is undisputable.
But they did it shitty. That's what I'm saying. You're trying to reach the masses, but if you're trying to reach the masses, it is making a QR that goes to a mint page that requires MetaMask reaching the masses.
Dude, Coinbase couldn't even do it.
That Kate Upton commercial, go back and rewatch it. It was amazing.
It's fire, man. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it before this. It was really good, man. That's kind of the level I was hoping for, but apparently it was out of the budget. I don't know. They talk a lot. They talk a lot on their Twitter about the $200 million valuation raise, or the $200 million raise they got. Like, bro, if you're gonna spend 6.5, just spend 8 million and make a fire commercial with that QR in it.
It's a good point. No, he needs to hire my creative agency, and he would have done a better job.
I'll say this for Limit Break, man. It's like there was one other commercial that I thought was worse than that, and it was the Remy Martin commercial that had I was like, it was like a bunch of it was like it looked like it was a Nike commercial or some kind of like motivational like sports commercial, and then it was just like, Remy Martin, we didn't advertise any of our products or tell you anything about us during this commercial, and there's nothing that makes you want to go to buy anything from us right now. Well, whatever. I think Limit Break is gonna. I think Mises, you have a point to be made that I think when I scanned the QR code at the beginning, he was at like 750 or 800,000, followers, and like you said, now he's above 1 million. I'm sure people in the chat are saying it's going to continue to net him followers for some time. We're talking about it. I'm sure everyone else is talking about it. But what is the measure of success? That's what
attention. That is the answer you're looking for, and he got it.
True. Well, and this honestly brings up a good point, in that kind of moving into the next topic here about are most Web3 games do. I'm curious to see, how this goes as they start to roll their game out, and with this in the hindsight, what their project looks like a year from now, right? You talk about the gaming industry, not just Web3 games, but traditional games as well. There's very few titles that have lasted the test of time, you could say, and have been out for 5-10 years. A lot of times games are out, they come out, they're super popular. If you look up the player base, it goes like this, and then it drops right off to become what they say is a dead game, right? Even though they still might have some players or whatever. But I want to get your guys' opinions on if that's going to be the case for Web3 games as well. Q, let me start with you, man. I mean, in your opinion, like, what does a Web3 game need to accomplish in order to be considered a success? And in the context of the last topic, the Limit Break Super Bowl ad, like, what do you think with their game they need to do to become, to be considered a success?
That's oh man, that's a tough one to unpack.
Not like in your opinion, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what the user base looks like, but I would love to see like a sticky user base, a daily active users that are coming back. We just had a Avagachi on today on our channel, and I think they're a little bit underrated when it comes to a game that has daily active users, that has a sticky community of like 2 to 3,000 players that are coming back often, that are engaged with what's going on. I think that they're a little bit underrated in that sense. I think we were sold a bag of hopium for sure in the last bull market, and you know that these games are going to take a little bit longer. We've been saying for forever that these games need to be good, right? It can't just be tied to a token and therefore make people a bunch of bags, because they're going to attract mercenary behavior. That's what we saw with Axie Infinity and some of these other games that relied heavily on play to earn activities. So, I mean, it's tough for me to say what does a Web3 success looks like, but it looks like right now, right, the other side. I already mentioned Avagachi. These are running between 3 and 10,000 players, maybe a little bit more. For the other side, we saw Dookie Dash got like 17,000 players, like unique players that were playing that. So that's kind of the framework we have right now. I don't know what Illuvium looks like, and you guys are surely in the Web3 gaming space more than I am. I kind of touch many sectors, so that's what I've seen is Avagachi 3,000 DAUs. Yeah.
Avagachi is dope, man. Like of all of the
Yeah.
of all of the like, I mean, it's funny when you talk about games in Web3. A lot of criticism comes when you talk about like gamified DeFi things, and I think that some people might say that that's not a game, right? Personally, I think that if there's if without the DeFi, it's still worth like playing and messing around with, as I think Avagachi is, in the sense of like that Tamagotchi and the items and things. It doesn't cross like the person who's going to play that game without DeFi is not the same person that plays that with DeFi. I think, but I will say that I think Avagachi, even though it's more of a gamified DeFi, is one of the closest of all of the gamified DeFi, setups that we've seen, to being something that, like you said, has daily active users, that has a community coming back to it, and is staying engaged in it because their team is putting out content on top of attached to the game, the DeFi, that is fun, right?
They got to come back every day so they can protect the bags, bro. If they don't come back and engage every day, then the bags start to drop, and then that's no good. We don't want that.
That's fair. It is incentivized. I will say we mentioned that, like, why isn't Avagachi more popular? And they were like, because there's this barrier of DeFi. Like, we're going to move away from that and go more towards gamifying the game. And they've done some instance-based stuff where it's like an event, and then you're in there playing the game. But it's certainly not what you'd expect from like a game like you want to see all the time. So
we'll see. Like
the little dude, the little character, they're cool, man. The little ghost character, I like the pixel, style that they've done.
Yeah, they're cool. Cute. At my prior fund, we invested in them, so I'm a huge fan, obviously. Now, my take on whether Web3 games or whatever the question is, what they need to do is make a fun game. The meta around Web3 game is just around ownership, in my opinion. So therefore, focus on a game that's fun, and if you hit that, you win. Gaming is a hit-driven business, and no one can predict it. They need to get out and put the content out outside of Web3 Twitter. Like Nifty said, you need 1,000 true fans playing the game. But here's some more metrics. EVIO, another one of my investments. Okay, 600,000 monthly active users. There's another one, an FPS out of the Andreessen portfolio, doing around, 300K. So there are big Web3 games that have real users daily. And the funny fact is, a lot of times, half the people aren't even interacting with the crypto. So it's interesting, right? So it's coming back down to just building a fun game and let people interact with the crypto if they want, and stop throwing it in people's faces.
Well, yeah, and I think too, like a lot of those titles that you mentioned don't get enough love, and are starting to get more love because, like, we're I feel like 6 months ago, a year ago, these games didn't even really exist, or were publicly exist. They were being developed behind the scenes. And like I think right now we're starting to see like now that these games are out and running and they have a player base coming back and a growing player base, we're starting to see esports being brought up around the games, and we're seeing tournaments for EV. We're seeing tournaments bridging all kinds of different games together, all different kinds of esports tournaments with, I mean, honestly, if we're talking about crypto, I'd say it's chump change in terms of prizes.
Right.
But where we're at in the market and everything. But the fact that we have
Hey, wait, hold on! I won $400 this weekend playing
glory
Mojo
is
Bowl.
priceless, okay?
Playing Planet Mojo, yeah.
Well, yeah, but
game, like-
what are the
Rep
winners
is
of League of
priceless.
Legends tournaments win? In
Oh, true
comparison.
that. Yeah, I mean, we're not at that level. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what I mean is I think that esports and the money behind things like or the money in tournaments like that is what makes like gaming a profitable industry for other businesses to come in and set up services and things around that, and which we're going to start seeing for Web3 games. That is going to bring on bring the Web2 crowd into the Web3 space.
You got it. And basically, there are people out there going to be throwing tournaments all the time. You got Bedlam, which I created. You have Community Gaming. You have Blue Mint. You have Fractal. You have other major names that are going to get in this space and cross these communities around the best games that are out. The only challenge right now is there's not enough games out, but they're coming, I promise.
Honestly,
I don't think that's true. There's a ton of games out right now, and it really just comes down to a lot of the underexposure. The thing that we see a lot of times when you talk about like why Web3 games may be doomed to only last a few years or only be is really it comes down to the marketing, man. I think a lot of people in Web3 they don't understand how to market their product very well to the right people and in the right way. So there's great games out there that people just aren't playing, and I'm like, man, this is a high quality game. This is a game that you could easily not say anything about NFTs or crypto, and people should be playing this game. But it's just because in general the gaming industry is very saturated. I mean, you talk about we talk about Web3 games, but man, how easy is it really to even make a successful game in gaming? Period. Let alone Web3, let alone NFTs incorporated. It's just hard to make a successful game, even if it's fun. Like so when we talk about the games have to be fun in Web3, of course they do. But even if you have a really fun ass game, it's still incredibly hard to make it in the gaming industry at all. So you talk about the longevity for these games. How long are they really going to last? I mean, most games that are out there, they don't last more than a couple of years.
Yeah,
and then
they make money.
I do like the narrative.
The next
switching
one comes out.
From,
the next one.
I love the narrative switching from the actual tokens, like the fungible tokens, to the actual ownership of the NFT assets too.
Right.
Because that's what we saw with the play to earn.
Yeah.
Whole like rise and fall it was a lot about SLP. It was a lot about the AXS token and things like that. It's much more about NFT ownership. And then the mini anecdote I want to add, which is something that I experienced in the last couple of weeks, was DigiDaigaku with the Bored Apes. I'm part of the Bored Ape ecosystem. I was playing the game, but what you saw was like pro gamers started tweeting about a Web3 game for probably the first time. I don't know if it is necessarily the first time, but Mongrel got the top score at like 928,000 or something like that. I guess he's like has 1 million followers on Twitter without using a Super Bowl ad, I might add. And I don't know. It's the pro players were tweeting about it, playing it, and unfortunately they were getting like paid. So there's a whole.
I was gonna say that's why they're tweeting about it, because literally these Web3 dudes are reaching out and saying, "Hey, bro, can you play this for me since I suck?"
Yeah.
And
but
like
still
paying. I
marketing
mean,
for
and then on top of that, I mean, like being able to hack the game and like get like anyways, it was one of those things where. Once again, was it really for anybody outside of Web3? No. Did it get some exposure outside? It did. But is that positive exposure?
Yes.
Like the headline is gamers being paid $2,000 to $5,000 to play weird NFT game that
no. That's how the world works.
Special price,
dude. Yes, that's how the world works. I did not mean to cut you off. Stash, you're on fire. You are making amazing comments. A lot of them I agree with. However,
smoking.
Dude, so everyone knows that's how the gaming industry works. You pay content creators to play your game. It's amazing they did it. And it's amazing that the pros joined in. It was a massive thing for our space, and I couldn't be more thankful for the gaming industry and Web3 that occurred. And you had it on your topic list for tonight. I also don't think it's a bad thing that people are paying people to play games. The metaverse is all about new jobs, new ways to make money on the internet. It's a huge win, and we should be celebrating.
That is a good way to think about it, honestly. I didn't frame it like that, when I was thinking about it, and good point. Touche, my friend. Touche.
You got it.
No, I mean, I think that it's giving exposure. I mean, but once again, at the same time, I think that it can easily come off as negative, right? So the reaction from mainstream gaming is not that that's a positive thing. They see it as yet another cash grab, and like that's what NFTs are all about. And look, it's all about the money, and people are doing it, doing these things because they're trying to get some crazy weird prize that nobody knows about with all these crazy monkeys. And like in general, I feel like it doesn't paint what we're doing here in the best light. Now, paying content creators to play games, sure, that's great. But having people, pay somebody else to do their gaming for them to try and make money. I mean, I'm not saying there's something wrong with it, but once again, I don't know that it literally. I don't know that paints are. I think it's because people who have negative comments about NFTs more cannon fodder to try and just talk shit about NFTs and Web3.
Let me. My friend Jonah said it perfectly, and this will calm the waters. It's luxury. It's luxury gaming.
Luxury gaming.
See that? So on that, like, I there's so much marketing towards being a AAA game experience, right? And I'd rather see Web3 games embrace like a niche in this market in an indie game style. Like, yeah, we are a luxury game. And just embrace that and go for a community for that rather than marketing towards being a AAA game. And I think that's where the miss is right now. Yeah. Yep.
Was the rampant mercenary gameplay. I don't care that a player could get paid. It was when one player could get like 10 sewer passes and like play it all. So then you just got like 20 of the best players playing 1,000 passes, and you were just like, what the fuck is this? And
that's where it got compete in that.
It's like, okay, pay one dude that gets to play one pass, but it got rampant, and which was
he's like, I don't care if I win or not. I'm making $1 million playing.
There was also, I mean, there was also like cheating. We don't need to get too much into it, but like when you just talk about longevity for games, the one thing I will say that I did appreciate with DigiDaigaku is that it was a limited time event. Understanding this game was built for a specific purpose. And it was timed and said, hey, here's how long this is going to be. And it was successful in its right during that time versus what we see with most games is them trying to like last forever, apparently. They want to be a game that's going to be the next Call of Duty, and every game has that aspiration. Well, how many games can actually be that? Very, very few, right? So having unrealistic expectations of how long your game can last and taking advantage of that is one of those things that Web3 games also fall victim to, and I think that the timetable is even more accelerated in Web3 because of NFTs, because of the financial side of things, because of tokenization. That people are like, this game is going to be around forever, and then it's not. It's gone within 2 years. Well, no, but the devs didn't have a plan. And we've seen this already. There's been multiple NFT games and collections here, even in the last couple of weeks and months, where like they're like, we're just we're closing up shop. Sorry guys, you guys are screwed.
AAA or bust.
And they're just kind of like, oh, we didn't make it. So and then they either leave their community kind of like just wondering because there's nothing. It's silence. Or they kind of lead them on thinking that like, hey, if we just do another thing or another sale or another something, but there's no plan there for longevity, and so you end up with all these games that really are not going to last more than just a couple of years. Yet they're selling everything like, man, this shit's going to be a dynasty.
Right.
And I get it. I mean, I guess that's what you have to do. But damn, dude, it's sad when there's a financial aspect attached to it. That's one of the things I can't appreciate about DigiDaigaku is that they made this a limited time thing. Here's what's happening. A lot of people did play it. A lot of people couldn't play it. Like myself, I couldn't play. I wasn't gonna go spend $3,000 or $4,000 on a sewer pass just to try and play this game, even just to do it for content. You know, and I don't think Yuga even tried to, like, you know, say, hey, we could have you do
they
some stuff
didn't,
like that.
which I'm pissed about.
Yeah,
exactly.
They should have done that.
Someone
right?
managed to. I will say this. Someone I did see. I don't know. I didn't try it out myself, but I did see someone say that they figured a way to like set up their pass so that they could like share it with people.
You can do that
if you wanted to try.
There was a
Sure.
marketplace for
try
that.
the game.
Yeah, and that was kind of cool. Like, there was people who were talking about this in chat every time we were talking about it here on the channel. It was like Gray Boy Aliens or something like that, and it was basically like a shared pass. But then you get into the complexities. Okay, if you've paid to like play this or through this, then who if that was the winning one, if that sewer pass was the winning one, how do you split? Do you split it amongst everyone that paid to play, or like how does that work in the end? I don't know.
That's the owner's benefit, man. That's what
right. Maybe it is. It's the owner gets all that. Like, hey, guys, sure, for sure, guys. If you own this other NFT, we'll let you use our NFT that we have. That then, if you do win, sorry, you know, we win. Really. I don't know. I don't know that's actually how it went. I'm just saying in general, it's complicated.
I don't want to turn this into a Dookie Dash show. I know Adam, I know you have to move on, but they did spend I think like 2.5 million in ApeCoin as well. USD. Wow. So I spent a hefty chunk as well trying to.
No, and when you talk about that compared to like, you know, the marketing for you know, the DigiDaigaku drop, you know, spending 6.5 million on the Super Bowl ad or going the route that Yuga did, which I think was actually brilliant. A lot of people spent way more money, like boosting and for things like that, into buying the pad. Like I think that was a pretty smart move when you talk about financial wise. Smart move of how they set that up to give people to like let people use tokens to incentivize them to like do better or to get extra things, where it may be, because a lot of people, like you said, spent money just doing that, and that doesn't count. You know, all the trading of the passes and everything on the secondary. That's just that's firsthand sales of people using tokens to boost their game. So it was well thought out, I think, in that kind of respect, in the financial respect of things. Yuga knows how to milk a mother effing cow, guys. It's like all udders on full force. Let's go!
Microtransactions, yay!
Yeah, and so they know how to milk the cow for sure.
They're like, wait, money doesn't grow on trees, guys? What are you talking about? There's the money tree, right? The faucet, it just comes out like water. What are you talking about? No, but I mean, you know, Nifty Q, man, I like what you said about just to bring it back to Avagachi, even like how, you know, I guess Bored Ape being kind of the inverse case of this, like, you know, Avagachi or how you're saying, you know, moving away from tokenization of things and more towards like the ownership around the NFT being the value proposition in these things. Because like in the case of Avagachi, it's like, you know, I always have thought like, you know, it's a Tamagotchi style game that has the emphasis on like DeFi. If they just switched that and had the emphasis on NFT collectibles, like, I mean, anyone who
they're moving to.
Anyone who owned a Tamagotchi, anyone who like my fondest memory of that style of thing is like if y'all had a Nintendo DS, like Nintendogs, when you used to like have Nintendogs, you got all the different collars and toys and shit for your dog, and like those could all be NFTs, man. That's a perfect use case or style of game that would fit in this industry and be something that like, you know, people want to play and isn't too overbearing in terms of like, you have to know what liquidity pools are to play this.
Oh,
you know,
man, you teed me up for exactly the statement I wanted to say. I think, honestly, hot take here, a Web2 game integrating a Web3 tech around digital ownership is what's going to bring more gamers to this space before a Web3 game does it.
Yes.
Hot off the press.
No, I mean, I think
that is a good take, but it's true. It's already happening.
Right, and we see that. I mean, like, that's all Web3 games are exactly that. They're literally just a game where they've incorporated Web3 tech, you know, but an existing Dynasty game doing it would be huge. Like really, when you look at everything out there that's primed, CSGO could make a really easy transition to having NFT skins, and it wouldn't change anything about the game or about the marketplaces. All it would do would give actual ownership of people of these NFTs, so they could trade them in a manner that is not locked into the game's centralized servers, right?
It's a different checkout process.
That's it. That's all it is. But it's a better accounting process for those items, right? Knowing that these are legit items, they're 100% real, they're not faked or duped, or, you know, someone used some sort of, you know,
AI
loophole.
generator,
something, exactly, something, and you're on a marketplace and it's a scammy thing, and for whatever reason it didn't work. You know, there's a lot of loopholes there that you could avoid by just using NFT technology in the background, and CS:GO would be prime for that.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'd be
think that's
fat.
that would be great and all, and I think that's how the way it should be. But like it's the benefit is for the players, and the reason that doesn't exist is because like once they open up their marketplace, they lose revenue,
Mhm.
right? They start to lose like. I mean, I guess they could set up their own third party market, or not third party, but like have royalties in their marketplace. But then
Of course, no,
there's the option of third party marketplaces now, and that's
well,
what
that's
like,
that's the brilliance of it, right? So as a developer, you sell the skins originally, and you're gonna make whatever the price is. So if it's you sold the skin for $10 or whatever, then you're making that initial sale. And then anytime it's sold on any third party marketplace, you're going to be getting a residual. I'm a strong believer in creator royalties. I think that that's going to be a huge backbone for revenue for games here going into the future. And it makes total sense. I mean, paying 5% or whatever it be, or 2% or whatever on those trades. You think about the volume of CSGO trades that are happening on the daily. They would be absolutely cleaning up, even with the small, like 1% royalty fee on every NFT that traded hands. And particularly look at these high dollar skins that are going left and right. I mean, the volume of skins is ridiculous. And so they could easily make a ton of money. And so it doesn't matter if it's third party or even their own. Like they could have their own in-game marketplace that they run as well, and also allow third parties to do the same thing. And then you're bringing it all all the revenue back into the game development.
Yeah,
Web team gets that's going to take over. It's the next blockchain.
Web2 companies are fucking fantastic at the onboarding process. And to Dub's point, like they're going to be the ones that are going to figure out how to get people into this space once they make that transition. Web3,
right.
like Avagachi is a great example. Like there's this, we've termed it on NFT Live complexity chasm. Like if you just make your game too fucking complicated, nobody's going to join. They're going to be like, what's happening here?
Yeah. Chasm. It is super over the top complex.
And so they got Web3 companies are all about that, and Web2 companies, for all their faults, they know how to onboard correctly.
It's like we'll sell all of your user data and be as predatory as possible, but at least we'll make it easy for you to give us your data.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's a balancing game, man, because a lot of the things that we're trying to push here in Web3, I think are going to be beneficial, but you got to balance that with centralization, It's never going to be, we don't want anything to be fully on the right side, all the way centralized, right? But we also, anything being fully left and being totally decentralized is not feasible either. It's finding a comfortable middle ground where, you can get enough of the privacy and the decentralization, and then have the speed and, ease of use of the centralized service. It's a hard balance to find. I don't think we really, achieved it thus far.
I think EVIO and Big Time are the ones that are doing it the best and the closest stuff.
No, EV does a great job, man. We talk about approachability to that game. It's browser based. You hit the website and you're instantly playing. I mean, within seconds, there's no barriers at all. Yeah, I mean, within seconds. But I mean, I love that kind of onboard, and then you can choose to like make an account or whatever from there. But you can start playing right away without anything. And and that I will attribute to the why they have a lot more daily active users than most games, because anybody that hits the website is considered a daily active user, right? It's brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant. I'm not knocking them. I really do think it's awesome. And then Big Time I think does a pretty good job as well. Not as easy, I would say, to understand, to get in as Eevee, but still, there's some games out there that they're getting there.
Eevee's brilliance, part of Eevee's brilliance too, is that their revenue isn't totally dependent on. Well, I mean, it is partially dependent on them, but like they have external revenue sources through like the advertising that they have on the arenas. Whereas like a lot of Web3 games, their only revenue is coming from their player, coming from internally from their player base and what they're selling to them.
Yeah.
And that gives them a little bit more of a safety net, I guess.
Oh, and we got big shout out to our friends over at Non-Fungible Arcade. We got George in the chat.
Yeah.
And NFA is also browser based, and you can jump in seconds too. And I was playing it this weekend. I was playing Invasion and getting my ass kicked by aliens. And they're like 8-bit arcade games, and they're fun, man.
Yeah, dude. I need to dive more into what they're doing, man.
What is the website?
That's on my list.
Hell yeah, man. But yeah, we're running out of time tonight, folks. We're running a little bit long. Well, I mean, we're running just up to the wire here. But I want to thank y'all. But that's all we're gonna have for tonight. We'll talk about AI on next week maybe. But I want to thank
that's like a whole show conversation right there. I feel like we talked about all the things, and the AI we could just have a whole show about it, man. Like AI
like
gaming.
do that. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, man, thank you guys for NiftyQ, Meezies, Dub. Thank you guys for coming on the show tonight. For you guys watching out there, all of their channels are linked in the description below, and other social channels for them as well. Go down there and spread the love on their channels as well.
Yes.
Give them a follow, and check out their content because they're killing it also. If you guys are stuck around this far, thanks for watching. We'll be back again next Monday for another episode. And maybe it'll be all about AI. Who knows? Or we'll do a special AI themed around the metaverse or something.
We'll have to table it for next Monday.
Thank you, Stash. Thank you, Stash. You're the man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
That's all we have for tonight. See you later.